can just roadblock. That isn't what he's used to, I believe.
I would definitely agree with that. He's probably because he was the dictator of his the Trump organization, and he could just fire people at a whim, and that's what he wants to do. But he knows he's going to get some kind of like a media uproar. And I mean, I do agree that like firing people left and right is not a good look. I don't think that's like the biggest thing you can like get worked up for, but it's definitely not like worth like freaking out about.
Right.
But
But according to almost every report on government employment, there are thousands of jobs that are now empty, and he's going to leave them empty. I don't think he wants to hire anybody in mid-level bureaucracies anymore. I think he's done. He's like a one-man house cleaner. Basically, I think he looks at it all as Americans' money. Would Americans want to spend their money this way? I think it really comes down to that for him, because he's used to looking at his businesses and saying, "Do I want to spend that money? It's no return on that."
I don't think. I think it just doesn't want to go through like the trouble of vetting all the people and like approving them. But
and why should he if they're really it's clear that we still have a functioning government that must be non-essential.
yeah, and I think they would largely be like. I mean, if you're talking about like ambassador to South Korea, that would be. I don't think that post has been filled yet, but I still think that like that's an important post. But like the people who like work in the White House who are like just doing nothing, I would agree with you there.
He may actually see himself as the ambassador to South Korea. Who knows?
Probably right about that.
When you work in the private sector, you're used to doing a lot of things all of the time, solving a lot of problems. That's what he made money in New York real estate and working with governments. He's got to have some basic intellect and strategic capability. Otherwise, he'd have been out of business.
All right. So before we move on, I just want to share two more of these good revelations that I found here. Apparently, Trump reportedly said he told Gary Cohn that he had hired the wrong guy for Treasury Secretary right in front of Steve Mnuchin, which is a little bit awkward. And he reportedly once asked his 27-year-old assistant what he should do in Afghanistan. And he also, finally, nearly provoked North Korea into war with a single tweet about, which is like kind of like the liberal talking point almost coming true.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to move on now to Texas and the Senate race there that is really heating up.
Yes.
As Ted Cruz's surprisingly competitive battle against Ted Cruz or Beto O'Rourke is really getting close. I mean, the question is Ted Cruz at risk of losing his Senate race? And the answer is maybe, possibly, most likely. I mean, I shouldn't say most.
Yeah. That would be astonishing in a place like Texas. And we're talking. Well, I mean, there have been Democrats, run in Texas before. Ann Richards famously was a Texas politician who, she would never give up her guns, and she didn't mind making sure people were sentenced to death. I mean, there are ways to run in Texas as a Democrat. It's Ted Cruz is truly astonishing, because he's been a stalwart of real Republican values, for lack of a better word. And you'd imagine that would align really well with most Texans, but Texas is changing. Texas is seeing an influx from a lot of people from what one might consider more blue state.
Yeah, you got people coming in, like a lot of like a strong Latino population, some people coming in urban areas, and it's just getting like more and more purple by the election year, which is definitely helping him here. Another thing that's helping him in to a large degree is Ted Cruz, who is very unlikable, and
yes, which is why he couldn't. He was doomed as a presidential candidate. He's just not a likable guy.
Yeah, he doesn't have that kind of like political it factor. He doesn't have like he doesn't have a likability person. Like, it just doesn't.
Friends have described him to me as creepy. So I get that. You know, I never found it personally. I never found him to be creepy. I just didn't think he had the personality to be president. Not that he's not smart enough.
Wait, check him out. Friends of yours have met Ted Cruz?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ted Cruz is probably one of the brightest Republican senators there is. He's, when it comes to policy.
Looks like I'm having a little bit of a
like choosing the right policies. He's brilliant. I just don't believe that those policies are going to play as well in Texas as they used to.
Yeah, and that's that whole thing. And the really incredible thing is Beto O'Rourke has come out against the Kaepernick decision. He's come out on the side of Colin Kaepernick. He's come out like running as a progressive, working. He hasn't, I think, come out in direct support of single-payer healthcare, like people who are maybe running in bluer areas. But he said that like he wants to really like add the public option and all of that kind of stuff. Also, one thing he's done, he's now consistently polling within single digits this summer. He's been on Stephen Colbert, Ellen DeGeneres, and he's going to have a big President Donald Trump is going to do a rally for him, I think, really quite soon, or for Ted Cruz quite soon.
That's astonishing because the vitriol between the two, the venom that had been traded during the last presidential cycle, it was just extraordinary.
Yeah, they're having a billboard rolling around Texas with the tweet from the election cycle of Ted Cruz, Donald Trump saying of Ted Cruz, why should people of Texas trust Ted Cruz? He's an all-talk, no-action politician. So that is
that one.
Yeah, that is quite a good sign. They're going to park it right out of the rally, outside the rally when he comes in. That's the plan.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think a Cruz loss.
You could probably put that in a better spot, though. I don't think anyone going to the rally is going to be affected.
No.
One bit. That's simply, that's a media play, because that billboard is going to be seen by millions of people.
It's going to be more about like the people who read the coverage of it on the news.
Correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it'd be personally, I would like to see Ted Cruz fall because I just don't like him. I think it'd be and it could be a key step, like politically, for the Democrats if they secure that seat to getting majority in the Senate, which could be also very important as well to stop maybe future Supreme Court.
I do believe that Texans will have a gut check though, and it's going to be very, very close. I do believe Ted Cruz will win, but it will be a slog for him, and hopefully, what I would love to see is a few Republicans learn something from how so many states are changing. I think California at this point is probably a net exporter of liberals. I do. I think that's true. I think California, at least parts of California, are ripe for a move slightly to the right. But the exported liberals and liberal Democrats, they're affecting politics in other states.
Yeah, and I mean, I think probably one of the most interesting things about the decision by Nike to do the Colin Kaepernick ad is it really shows you that a lot of the future, like a lot of the younger, like the millennials, are overwhelmingly, and the people who buy Nike shoes, not like older right-wingers, but younger liberals, like they are much more of a bigger force for the future. Like depending on how long away that future is, it's a big problem, and then it could.
Yeah, Nike is not being political.
No.
Nike is being commercially savvy. They're riding on the back of this political idea that is happens to be espoused primarily by their customers. This isn't a brave political stand. It's money.
Yeah, it's definitely all about just getting the most people, because like their sales did increase by 33%, which is a big show that they did. I mean, they did the math and they came out on top with the right decision there.
I'm in my 50s. I don't buy new Nikes every 2 months. I just don't. But for younger people, fashion and the intermingling of fashion and lifestyle is a big deal. And if they're now realizing disposable income, it makes sense for Nike. I never for a minute imagined that was a political stand.
No. It's not like they're going to be like social justice warriors when they. No. Yeah.
They're commerce warriors.
Yes. All right. That's all the time we have today. Thank you so much, Dave, for coming on.
That's too bad. I was enjoying this.
Yeah. It's been a good episode, I would definitely say. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope very sincerely that you did enjoy today's show. We had a good one. It was a lot of fun talking to Dave Langan. This is what we're going to look to do on today. We're going to spread back, have some good interviews, talk to some people about what's going on in the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed today's show. But still, it's time for some plugs. All right, this is what we got coming on Global. We have a date. October 3rd is the tentative date for the turn of Global. And, all right, yeah, that's what we want to know. And we're also considering adding a podcast not hosted by yours truly to the show. So you're gonna want to stay on tune for that. We hope you enjoyed the Spencer Walsh Show. Go check that out. It was very chill last night to do a live show, 8 p.m. As you know, the Spencer Walsh Show is now on Saturdays. And what else? I think that's it. Hope you enjoyed Newsflash. We'll see you Monday at 6 a.m. Remember that.